Hello again. Welcome back to Cardiff City World, the slightly wonky camera angle. I'm your host, Evan James, as always, because why else? Who else would it be? No. So I'm back again on short notice. Why the hell not? I love doing these live shows, to be fair, whether they're with my own or with other people. But I'm Evan James, host, a co-host, should I say, of Cardiff City World, not the main host. And today we do something a little bit different. I'd probably say that every live show, but I'm going to do something a bit slightly less Cardiff City related, but I'm going to mix it in with a lot of Cardiff stuff. So I've got a few sort of hot takes or questions to ask you guys. I'm also going to go through my mid-season table predictions of what's going to happen, who's getting relegated, who's getting mid-table and promoted and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to go through that today or this evening. And yeah, it'll be a nice sort of fun time to roast me and say how wrong I am about everything. But yeah, it'll just be a bit of a laugh, really, wouldn't it? I just had slight technical difficulties lastminute.com with my tier maker thing. It reset everything, which yeah, wasn't great. Let's just say that. Also, what's happened to our lighting over here? We've kind of dipped a bit tonight. Yeah, so get your comments in, guys. I've also left a comment at the start as well. I got a question for the viewers. Do we have a chance of keeping hold of Amari Kellerman next season? As in, like, re-loaning him, or I'm not saying sign him, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a small potential. I know they're saying never fall in love with a loan player, but I just say there's a chance. And if if we do get hold of him, or if there is a chance, right? It's BBM's connections. It's going to be Alex Robertson's connections. Well, I mean, I say Alex Robertson because from Man City, and Amari Kellerman, at least so far, seems to be enjoying his football here. I can't speak for him, but the fact he's putting his body on the line, I'll start with him because of I'm not sure if he broke his nose or something yesterday. I'm not sure. He looked quite dazed afterwards. I think he carried on, but yeah, there were some photos out of him, but it looked like he broke his nose or something, which I'm not sure the exact sort of medical things, but it doesn't look great. However, I guess you could say the one redeeming factor of that is that it shows he's putting his body on the line and he's doing everything for the club. And I think he's not the only one, I will say, but for a loan player who, they say never fall in love with a loan player, like I just said, it's like you always get that sense that the loan player is temporary because they are. But it's like with him, he just feels like he's just growing this squad so much and he's not going to get the same development as if he went to another League One or even Championship club, really, because, there are decent Championship teams, but I don't think he's going to get the space to shine and the time to develop his fitness if he was to go to a lot of Championship clubs. Now, there's me thinking he might have gone to Ipswich, but as someone who isn't fit, they're going to want fit players. So, he's okay. Well, he's ruled out of those teams. Then you think possibly could have gone to a side like Norwich, and you think that probably would have been suitable for his level. But at the same time, now he's come all the way to League One to play, same as Nathan Trott on loan. And you can say the same about Gabriel Osho, but obviously his injury doesn't help. Let's just say that, and he's a permanent. But I just wanted to check that question out there. I see Gavin's already got in the comment section, evening mate. And to be fair to you, Paul, and a few others, Graham, always regulars on the show. So I appreciate not just watching the shows, but also engagers and readers' help. Again, I got the QR code up here. Last minute, I put this on the screen. Become a Cardiff City World member. Just scan that QR code there, and you can join. Happy days. So, evening, Gavin. Let's have a look. Yeah, I do think we have a 50-50 chance. More than likely, he will go to Championship team that's aiming for promotion to the Prem, as it's better for his development. Well, let me throw this to you, Gavin. What if we were to get promoted this season? Do you think he would come to a Championship club then? Because that, technically speaking, that would make us a Championship club. But if you mean in terms of like that's his last game for Cardiff now, and in January now he's going to go elsewhere, I personally don't see it happening because he wouldn't have given it his all in that game, if you know what I mean. If he knew he wasn't going to be playing for us in January, or maybe I don't know, yeah. But the way I see it is he's here to stay till the end of the season, and there's a slight chance we get to loan him back next season. And I 100% would. I 100% would, because when he came on the midfield yesterday, I didn't talk a lot about individual player performances. Well, that's a lie, because I did talk about, player ratings. But, in terms of like individual players and how they influence the game, I didn't really talk much about that. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video anyway, because I know that people are still too early. It is early, it's an 8 o'clock show tonight, but that's how it had to be for me. Hopefully now I don't reveal I've got a screenshot of my final table here, but I want to keep it, have a bit of suspense and just kind of like drip feed it to you a bit and just basically give my opinion, and you can all scream at me and say how I'm wrong. And that's how it's going to be. So without further ado, let's go and share my screen. Oh God, I'm so bummed right now. Let's have a look. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Okay, we're still going on good on the frame rate. That's amazing. Let's have a look. So I love my tier maker tables or whatever, because I like just sharing my opinion and showing everyone how I'm right, basically. So I'm going to go in reverse order. So from the bottom, going down Liga 2, all the way up to we're going up, which, of course, Cardiff City are going to be in. Let me just make sure I don't get that wrong. Okay, there we go. So who do I think is first and bottom? Do I need to make this any bigger or not? I think this is fine, yeah. Let me know, guys, if you need any bigger to see it. It's not the biggest, I will admit. But at the same time, I need to go back and down. So, yeah, I'm going to go from here. Okay, so bottom of League One, getting relegated, I think, is Port Vale. Let me get them up here so I can see the current table as well, just so I know. I don't see them gaining enough points. I think they're on 15 at the moment. And I think for them, it's, they try their best, but I don't think it's going to work for them. Darren Moore, is he still in charge? I think he is. Yeah, I look at it right now and you can't see that, like, you can't see where the bounce is going to come unless they get a new manager, and even then they don't have the funds to spend. They're probably the poorest team in League One right now, and it's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just don't have the money to be in League One. I thought they were going to do really well this season. I thought Darren Moore was a pretty good manager, but obviously they're struggling. So I don't need to say much else about them. Next, who have I got? I have got, for a bit of a shock here, on the 125th or 150th anniversary, wasn't more sat this week, Geraint says, I am not actually sure. But anyway, you might see a bit of a bounce. But even after the bounce there, there's still, I think, at least 7 points? Have a look. They're 7 points behind Doncaster in 23rd. And I still think Doncaster have some quality to stay up. Do I think they're going to stay up? We'll find out in a second. But yeah, with Rotherham, I just think it's just, I don't know. I look at them every season thinking, like, how are they still in League One? Not to be thing, but let me just get rid of it. Problem is, as soon as I do split screen now, I got so many like pop-ups. I just don't want to know, basically. I can see on the, can I maximize? What else I can do? Oh God, let's not do that. Let's go back. I'll look on the vertical formats because I've got two things next to each other. So it's very technical, this episode. I think they sold a lot of their good players, Rotherham, to like Charlton and other Championship clubs that they have literally like, that Rathbone, where's he gone to? He's at Wrexham, I think, or something. And most of the quality players, Johansson gone to Stoke. It's like, who have they got left? And I think just the money that they got now, it's still not enough for them. So I think with the bottom four teams, it's just a case of they're just not going to have the money to splash out. And no disrespect, but it's not teams you're going to be excited to join even on loan. Evening, by the way, so we've got Gavin and Susan. Sue, sorry. I'm not sure if that's how you prefer it said or if it is Sue's. But so that's my bottom two by quite a mile, I think. The next one I'm going to chuck in there is Burton and Hove Albion. Honestly, the reason I put them there is because every season they seem to stay up, they seem to survive. And this is the season where I think they're not going to hang on anymore. Because you think of Cardiff in the Championship, albeit the season before we finished 12th, 13th or whatever, and it was kind of like a purple patch of a season in a way. I genuinely don't know how we finished that high, if I'm being honest, because the football wasn't pretty at all. But we did it. But yeah, I think it was just more the quality of players we had on loan. But yeah, so I just think Burton have flirted with relegation for season after season, and the only player I can think from this squad they have is decent is that Charlie Webster. And there's no way that Charlie Webster is going to be there next season. I have no idea how he's still at the club. I think it would have been not bad signing for us to go for, really, because he's a great box-to-box. He can finish decent as well. I mean, he scored against us. but he seems like their main sort of goal scoring threat, and he's a midfielder. So I don't know. I just don't see Burton and Hove Albion doing much damage. Next, who have I gone for? I've gone for Doncaster Rovers. Whilst I think they got some decent players like Molyneux, um, Charlie Crew on loan, which have good quality. I don't see what else in this squad they have it. If I'm being honest, I thought they were terrible in our 4-3 win. I genuinely thought, like, how did we let them score 3 goals? Yeah. Oh, there we are. Geraint said he was sacked there. Darren Moore has been sacked by Port Vale. So maybe you see some changes. I just think the damage is already done at this point. I know there's a lot of games left, but it's going to take a hell of a lot to try and convince or change that dressing room. I mean, honestly, if the changing rooms, honestly, if they do stay, fair play to them. Like, I don't really care so much because obviously, as long as Cardiff go up, that's the main thing. But Doncaster, yeah, from what I've seen, they look like an awful side with a couple of really good players that's kind of got them through it. And I might sort of like contradict myself a bit later because I've got a couple of other teams I put a lot higher up who I think probably shouldn't be that high up. So, mm, sorry guys, I'm really bunged up today, so I might have to stop to blow my nose a bit. And I know I'm going to be a bit gross and everything, but we all have to do it. Let me just mute myself for just a second. Hang on, let me. Oh, yes. Having a cold, the most attractive thing for a man. Anyway, next, who we got next? We're out of the relegations zone, but still in a dogfight, more or less to the end. Very narrowly escaping it. I'm going to put AFC Wimbledon. I've got a list next to me, so I'm trying to like look back and forth in case I don't look sure. I think at any other given day I could have made this list, I would have put them in the relegation zone and kept up Doncaster. I just think that was it Johnny Johnson or is I thought I'm really bad managing names. I can't remember. I think it's something like that. Johnny Jackson Johnson. Yeah, but I think he's doing a really good job in terms of getting the points, getting like ugly wins in a way, or getting ugly draws. And they almost did that against us. We obviously scored very late on. But I just think that they've just got enough in there that they're playing a bit of Warnock ugly ball, bit of hoofball, and they get a really low block, very sort of compact, and because of their defense and I think their counter attack, it's just going to be enough to beat the teams that are below them. I think if they can, AFC Wimbledon can beat these 4 teams below them. So that's my kind of main justification of why they're not getting relegated. But I think it will be a last day kind of thing for them. And next to them, I don't know why I have a thing against this team, right? But Mansfield Town, how the hell are they still in this division? I said this about Rotherham as well. I saw Mansfield Town a few times last season. I have no idea how they're still in League One because I think I watched them. Who did I watch them play? You weren't Derby because they were in Championship. It must have been like Wigan or something. I can't remember who. Yeah, Mansfield was someone. Yeah, Mansfield were playing someone. Maybe even Blackpool, I think it was. And I gotta say they were god awful. That's when they had the likes of Aidan Flint in the squad and everything. But yeah, I don't see anything that we beat them 3-0 pretty comfortably, and it could have been a lot more. I still think at the moment, I think they're like 11th or something. And I will just sort of preface this, yeah, they are 11th. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams on 29 points, which is insane. To think that we're like about what? Just under, or about halfway through the season now, just under. And have they got games in hand? They've got 1 game in hand, but so have most other teams. And if I'm being honest, I'm not like convinced by their manager or by anyone else. I think they're just looking to stay up, and I think that's all their ambitions are going to be. So that's why I put the Warnock thing here. Died for 3 points. Oh, hang on a second. I made a mistake here. Barnsley-esque. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'll see Gavin's got the comment in here. Going off track a bit. I was sitting in the grandstand last night, and it's so bad seeing the goal mouth by the family stand empty. Can't speak. The club either needs to put the away fans behind the goal or us. Yeah, the family stand I feel like just needs to not be a thing anymore. As much as I get it, right? It's great to have that, and you could sort of you could call it the family stand anyway, but just make it open to other people. Just make it like basically like a second grandstand, right? So even make it so like I don't know, people over like 60 get it cheaper. So I something like that. Just make the tickets a bit cheaper for regular adults. But obviously, you don't want to, create an atmosphere of the Canton end on both sides. I mean, some people would disagree with me, but you want to have a place where you can take your kids to, and it's not going to be too manic over there. But yeah, it's like I just think sell those tickets cheaper, and you'll fill out a bit more. But anyway, that's just kind of see. And by the way, guys, this one's kind of like a bit of free reign, so like don't be afraid to go a bit off topic. I'm just going to keep going back and forth between you. If you disagree or agree with any of these, by the way, you can let me know in the comments. I'm going to ruffle a few feathers. So I'm going to put something that someone's going to disagree with. But yeah, where was I? Let's have a look. So Mansfield, yeah, I don't see them doing much damage. See, they pick up a few 1-0 wins here and there. But if I'm being honest, I think they beat Bolton, I think 1-0 away from home. So they've got enough quality. They've got enough in them to beat some big teams. But that will be just the occasional upset. And I don't think it's going to be enough for them. But I don't think they're going to finish much higher. I think it's really just the other teams above them. I see them. And only just, I could swap like these three teams all around each other. But Exeter then, again, a team that's pretty good, pretty solid defensively. But they're kind of toothless in attack as well. And I said the same about, oh Christ, who did we play yesterday? Oh my God. Stevenage, yeah. It's like Stevenage is like a better version of Exeter for me, because Stevenage got really good defense. I think the least goals conceded out of all teams, but yet they just don't have much in attack. I mean, they have a decent striker, but they're a bit iffy. It's like playing Callum Robinson. Sometimes you're going to get the best from him, sometimes you're not, And when you've got a streaky striker like that, it's not the most reliable. So I think Exeter, again, on a very small budget as well, I think they're doing pretty well. I think, not all teams, just because they're low down the table, doesn't mean they're like terrible or they're doing terrible. A lot of these, I've got 2 out of the 4 promoted clubs recently. So I think I've put more on the board. No, I think I've still got 1 yet. But yeah, so like Bradford's the only one I haven't put in there. But you think of this now, if any of these teams, newly promoted teams, stay up, that's like a big win for them, obviously. So I'm not taking away that from them. I'm just saying, in terms of the quality for League One, yeah, so it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Not. So Exeter's there. Next in the last sort of dogfight area, I've got dying for 3 points, as Neil Warnock would say. I've got Northampton. I think every year they're kind of quite ambitious with them. I mean, if they stay up, they stay up. But I can say the same with all the other 4 teams. Their main thing is just staying up. But I don't think, again, with their budget, I think their budget is probably very, very similar to Port Vale's in terms of they just haven't got no money to spend. I think the main thing for them is they can use the youth academy a little bit, because they do get occasional youngster who will sort of be decent for the side. But again, will they be sold for pennies like Cardiff fashion? I don't know. I quite like Northampton as a team. I don't know why. I just quite like them, to be fair. Same with Exeter, really. I just don't know why some teams I just quite like them for no reason whatsoever. Cardiff doesn't come in that bracket. I love them, obviously, for good reasons. But next, a bit of a disappointing one. I go Leyton Orient. Considering how well they finished last season, don't think they got that same sting in there. I don't know. I look at the table now and it's like, yeah, what are they? 16th right now. So I think they'll stay around there, really. I mean, I don't see them as any threat. They got that Ballard, who's great. And I think some other clubs, maybe in January now, that someone's going to snap some of the good players up. Because they had a good finish last season, players are going to be a lot more aware of, teams are going to be a lot more aware of the players that Leyton Orient have. And I feel like they've already had a few of their players snapped up by now. So yeah, I mean, decent team, but I don't think doing much damage. Who have we got next? I will come to comments just in a second. And then making their way out of the relegation zone is Plymouth Argyle with Tom Cleverley in charge. I think they're going to pick up a bit of momentum. I just don't think they're going to get too much further up the table. They're currently 21st, so they are in relegation zone at 26 points, but they're literally 1 win away from being 9th, which is crazy to think. I just think that as the season progresses, the table will even out a bit. And, keeping them up again, just mid-table mediocrity in some ways might seem like a bit of an underachievement, but I think for Plymouth, who've kind of been falling a bit like Luton, just free-falling, you want a season of stability and just sort of getting through the season. Excuse me. Graham says, for me, teams to watch Bradford and Huddersfield. Yeah, I agree with that. And you'll see where I place them later on the table. Let's have a look. Who else we got next? The very uninspiring and fallen giants. I'm going for Wigan Athletic. I miss when they were in the Championship because they had some decent players. I mean, that Lang, which went to, is it Callum Lang? Yeah, he went to Portsmouth. And yeah, I think he scored like a hat trick in one of the games in the Championship. What a player! But yeah, he was too good at Wigan Athletic, and they used to be quite a pacey team and everything. But again, they've lost a lot, and I mean, we got Kiefer Moore from Wigan, so you know, you can say, was it? I think it was Wigan, yeah, or Ipswich. I can't even remember. But yeah, so Wigan Athletic, I think they're going to finish 13th, 14th. Got to make sure I got that right then. Next, this is going to be a big shock. Most people won't expect this. I'm going for Stevenage. They are currently 7th place, just fall out of the playoffs. They have got 2 games in hand. Barnsley have got 3 games in hand. What the hell? Stevenage have got 2 games in hand, and I still think they're probably going to draw one and then lose the other. I genuinely not convinced by them after last night, and we should have won that a lot more comfortably. But sometimes it takes us one full half to get into gear. I just think that they just didn't want to be there yesterday. It genuinely looked like they did not want to play football yesterday, and some people said it was the same with the other game. They literally looked like they just come to defend and take a point, and that's it. And when they were winning, I think they were really sort of like ecstatic and didn't think they would actually get to winning points, but they did. They had that one shot from the free kick in the first half, right at the start. I thought, oh my god, that was insane at the bar. But apart from that clean strike that Patterson made, they had absolutely nothing. They sat on that 1-0 lead, and it cost them because at the end of the day, the better team won. And I think we are just that good at this point where even when we don't have the best game, we still create loads of chances. And then how could it be complete without Barnsley in mid-table? I'm sorry, Callum Fowler again. I love your content, but every season is Barnsley's season, and it's not just him that says it as a fan channel, but I swear, I look at loads of Barnsley fans and everything, and they say like, oh, every season is their year to go up. And to be fair, Cardiff fans probably said that in the Championship. But like, you always got to back your team, haven't you? And I just think they always start well, or they always have big ambitions, and they end up mid-table or just missing out on playoffs each time. So that's why I've named the tier Barnsley as a golf average. That was pathetic of a golf then. Who have we got next? Moving up to 11th position, I've got Wycombe Wanderers. I don't think many people will be arguing with that. Maybe people could say he could be higher up. I don't know. I think they were better last season, weren't they? And again, they lost. Who did they lose? Is it the manager? Yeah, that he went to Luton, didn't he? And then he got sacked. Matt Bloomfield. I think that's the name. Yeah. I don't really have much to say about Wycombe. I don't know a lot about them, if I'm going to be honest. However, I do know a fair bit about this team. Luton, I think, finished 10th. I think they're still going to, under Jack Wilshere, I think it's a very risky appointment. Yes, I think he can do a job, but I don't think he can get him promoted, especially halfway through the season. It's a very, very, very big ask. And I just want my point to be proven right to the fact that I know that Luton aren't going to go straight back up, because everyone said that. A lot of people said that in the Championship when they got back-to-back relegations. Yeah, that was not good for them. But I think 10th position, they won't be happy, I guess, but at least they stopped their free falling. So yeah, that's how I see about it. Oh, hello, there we go. Susan's got our predictions in. First will be Cardiff, second Luton, third Huddersfield, fourth Stevenage, fifth Bolton, sixth Bradford. Playoff winners Stevenage. Okay. So I expected Luton to finish strong, but we will get a good gap and win by 10 points. Well, that's okay. Well, I like the optimism. I think it will be pretty close until right at the end. I think the last sort of like 5-10 games we'll start to see the top 2 separating. I hope that's Cardiff. And now I'll show you where I put them. You might not be surprised. Who knows? Yeah, with Luton, I think it's being kind of realistic and thinking, okay, well, I mean, nothing's really realistic in English football, is it? But to stop their free falling, 10th position, you probably accept it as a fan. There, you probably know you don't want to go straight back up. Might get with a shout of playoffs, but I think they'll fall a bit more. I just don't think Jack Wilshere's got that experience yet as a manager. Who knows? It could change. Graham says Callum Robson played 538 minutes in in League One this season, roughly 6 games, scoring 5 goals. Oh wow, really? I didn't see it that way because I know he played quite a few games. I hadn't seen like he scored that many goals, but yeah, 5 goals in about 6 full games. That makes sense. Even Gary Evans agree with most Cardiff going up as champions. Interesting. Well, we'll come to that in just a second, I think. Next, though, I haven't actually put this team in here yet, and I've gone with Reading. I think that they have a nice comeback. I think in my initial predictions, I'll have to get them up afterwards if I remember, or if I can be bothered to find them. In my initial predictions, I thought the Reading would get, I think, close to playoffs. I think, yeah, and they had a rough start, but at the same time, they had all that stuff happen with their club and the owners and whatnot. So I think it's kind of like a bit of what's the word, respite? No, maybe not that, but like kind of redemption arc for them, I guess. And they got that wing, that Lewis wing. I tell you what, like I know I said about like one man clubs and everything, but if they keep hold of him to the end of the season, they're in with a good shout of getting playoffs. I'm telling you now, they're in with a good shout because I see again how many points off are they? They are 10th with 29 points. I mean, they're only 8 points off Bolton, and they've dropped a few points recently against the likes of Mansfield, lost to Wickham as well. There's plenty of games, they still got half the games left. Plenty of games to catch up, and like whilst the table looks like it's separated now, I mean, you've got us with a game in hand, 3 points clear of Lincoln, who are second. We could easily throw that game away. We could easily draw or lose that game, and it's all to play for again. I mean, it still is already. But yeah, at the same time, like I said before, between 14th to 9th, all the teams are on 29 points. That's like 6-7 teams on 29 points, which is absolutely insane. And we are 22 games in for the most part. I mean, all those players, I think, apart from Wickham, have played 22 games. So that mid-table can change a lot. And again, it's 26 points, which is what Plymouth are on at 21st. They're 1 point escaping the relegation and dragging another 2 teams in there, Northampton and Burton Albion, 3 teams actually, because Exeter count as well. It's like they're only because of goal difference, because when we battered them, probably that's why they're in the relegation spot right now. But again, I think they'd be fine. Let's still talk about Plymouth now. Anyway, Evan, who else we got? Even everyone, guys, as well. I will get to all your comments as soon as I go through this. I'm going to get this out of the way with, really. I am enjoying this. But Peterborough, I think they make a massive comeback. I think Luke Williams is just the perfect appointment for them. Originally, I might have thought different. I did not think they would have this kind of comeback in a moment, but they are doing, I think they're doing swimmingly well. They won 4 out of the last 5, is it? Yeah. They won their they drew their last game, but they won their last 4 games against Orient, Port Vale, whatever, Northampton, and Reading. So they're beating all the teams around them and below them, which is what you rarely see in English football, if I'm being honest. But, they're picking up decent wins, only by a goal, though. I mean, 1 goal difference. They're scoring sometimes winning 2-1, 1-0s, but that's all you really need. And then drawing against Reading again, that's not. Oh, they played Reading twice there, yeah? Yeah, so they just started playing the new. Okay, yeah. But they're not dropping a lot of points. They play one of the best in the form table, I think, aside from Lincoln. The only other team that won 4 games and drawn 1. I think we're like 3rd then in the form table. But yeah, so I think they'll do really well. I think they got a great manager at the best time possible. Satin Craig Ferguson was probably the best decision to make at the best time as well. Because yeah, if they had him for any longer, they could have been dragged into a place that was inescapable. And again, remember, it's 4 relegation spots, not 3 for this season, which is quite dramatic, really. But yeah, so I think they will probably solidify 7th position, and now we get to the playoffs. So, without further ado, I think big ego Huddersfield will just scrape 6th place. I think Peterborough. I think there'll be a fair bit of a gap, to be fair, between Peterborough and Huddersfield. But I look at the rest of the teams here, and I think Stockport is going to be better than Huddersfield. I think Bolton is going to outclass all the other teams. I just think they're one of the better footballing side in terms of like their ability and the tactical sort of side of things. They just play better football than most teams. Probably just a bit better than Stockport. And I think also with Bolton, they have the players to do it as well. They've always been a fairly big club, with history and everything. So I think they kind of have a leg up in against most teams, as opposed to that likes of Stockport. Huddersfield may be the only outliers in terms of quality. I suppose you could say Luton as well, but Luton over only recent years, and I feel like more of their players will leave the end of the season and go elsewhere to Championship clubs. Maybe, I don't know. I think Bolton are just sort of like edging the quality there. Stockport, I think, is still a really decent team under Dave Chalmers, and I hope they keep that manager. I just hope they don't finish above us. So yeah, now we're down to the final three. Who do I reckon I'm putting where? Well, I've already decided who I'm putting where. I'm going to put. I haven't put Blackpool in yet, have I? Yeah, I was supposed to. Sorry, hang on. Blackpool is 7th. My bad. Yeah. I think same with Peterborough. They found the right manager at the right time, I think, with that Ian Everts. I'm not a massive fan of him, but hey, it seems to be working. It seems to be the right club for him. I thought I was missing someone then. Yeah, Ian Everett, I think, is doing pretty well at Blackpool. I think they are actually doing... Oh, no, I even forgot there. I see Peterborough just above them. Blackpool also won 4 of their 5 last games and drawn that other game. So, yeah, they're pretty much like you could swap them around, but I'm going to go this way around. And I'm going to go with Lincoln are going to be scraping just outside automatics. And then, obviously... It's got to be this way around, isn't it? We got to start. Honestly, I genuinely look at it, right? Of all the teams, we have by far got the best team in terms of individual player quality. Second to that, I would say is Luton. The difference with Luton is they got a brand new manager who hasn't managed much in football at all. Probably the first, first team manager appointment for Wilshire. I think he will turn into a great manager, but I think because it's just first season syndrome, right? And I just think with Huddersfield and Bolton, you could combine their starting 11 together and put your best starting 11 of the current players together. It still wouldn't be better than Cardiff side. I say that with full pride because I just look at how young our squad is, and you can't underestimate how well we've done to maintain being first for quite a while. And albeit, we've had a couple games in hand, but so have Stevenage. They still got 2 games in hand. We got 1 game in hand. Lincoln have not got a game in hand, as far as I'm aware, and they're right behind us right now. And it's like they're 3-4 points off us. So it's a privilege to say that. I think Cardiff are going to storm the league. I don't think it's going to be by a lot of points. I think we might win the league by about 10 points. But I don't think Bradford would be far off because I look at, is it McCann for Bradford? I need to check. But yeah, Bradford, I think, done a sensational job. They'll get back-to-back promotions. I'm not doubtful about them at all. I can't actually see where the manager El Jefe. I need to search this up. I think it is Bradford manager. I think it is that McCann. Is it? Or am I thinking? No, Graham Alexander. What am I saying? McCann was he the Oh, I don't know. Someone correct me in the comments if you get. Yeah, Graham Alexander. Thank you, Adam, by the way. I just searched up then, so I couldn't see on the screen. But Adam also says, Bradford fan, and I would not put money on us to go straight up. If we stay with the pack, we have done well this season. Oh, I mean, first of all, Adam, thanks so much for joining in and engaging in the comments. I back you to get automatically promoted. If not, I think you're really good shout at the playoffs, if I'm being honest, because when we played you, your team outclassed us. Just simply think that just Bradford, if it's not going to be Cardiff will win it, I think Bradford would do it. And hats off to them, really. I mean, obviously, I want it to be Cardiff. I'll always will want to be Cardiff. But yeah, I think I underestimated Bradford because originally I think I put them in the last relegation spot. But for a side who I don't know barely any of the players, I mean, I just think they got an amazing manager for their club. And I don't want to say I'm jealous because I think we've also got a really good manager. But this is kind of his first proper go. But no, I think Rochdale, maybe you say, is his first proper go at managing the club. But yeah, I just think with the project we got, we've just got the players around it. I think if you had Graham Alexander at Cardiff do equally as good as a job, I just think that Cardiff is Bradford, but with better and younger players. That's just how I see it. I think the football playing right now is great. I still think we need to be a lot more direct, especially the game against Stevenage. We really do need to be a lot more direct because it could have cost us a few times. And Graham says, best team we played this season, and that includes Chelsea. Yeah, Bradford were, we lost 3-1 to both teams. But I just think if Bradford don't go up this season, I don't know what's going to happen because they'll probably storm next season. If they don't go up this season, they're going to storm the league next season. Because I look at Huddersfield and Luton, and Luton probably get some heavy investment over the summer, and I reckon they might do well next season if they're still in League One. But with Bradford, I think it's just I'm just sort of like coating them in honey at this point. But they're such a good team. I think I give them the props because I think how underrated they've been, kind of got under the radar. And it's just no matter what, I think they've only lost 3 games. Yeah, Bradford have lost the least amount of games this season, only 3. They've drawn 7, but I mean, if you draw or win games and you don't lose the games, you can get promoted just from that in League One, which is insane. And I think in the Championship, you have to win more or less all your games. You have to win all your home games and then the majority of your away games as well. That's how you get promoted in the Championship. And that's just to guarantee you playoffs. That's not even guaranteed automatic. So yeah, that's my list. If there's any shockers in there, just let me know. Or if anyone you really disagree with, and let me know how I'm wrong, because I love debates like that. Obviously, I'll have to remind you how you're wrong and I'm right. Obviously not. I encourage all debate, to be fair, as long as it's respectful. I think Lincoln, the reason why... who do I think will get promoted out of these 3? I think it's... I'd say Bolton, because I still think they're fairly consistent. I think they've lost the second least amount of games. Bolton lost 5 as well, like a few of us as well in the playoffs. I just think there's more quality in Bolton's squad than there are in these 3 combined. I'm genuinely being serious. I think, again, the best managers here, Steven Schumacher is a good manager as well, to be fair. But I think, in terms of the quality, it's not going to be enough for Lincoln. Well, you never know. They might pull an ugly win out somewhere. I just don't think they do well under pressure in games they need to win. And Huddersfield, they won't go back up. I doubt at this point. I originally had them to finish first and then a second. But yeah, I have my doubts of them now because it wasn't as similar as most people thought. Yeah, so guys, let me know who you think would get promoted or relegated. I'm going to move on to some hot takes now and see what people think. But yeah, so is there anyone I would change? I think the only thing I would change really is maybe I would give Stevenage a few more props and swap them with Wickham or something. But I don't think I would swap them anywhere else because it's so tight right now, even after 22, 23 games. Some teams 20 or 21 games. But yeah, I think the bottom 4 I have no problem with because, I mean, Wimbledon maybe could interchange with one of these 2, but I think Burton have been hanging on for a long time. And as patterns go with how it happened with us as well, once you flirt with relegation so many times, it's eventually going to happen. I think Wimbledon will survive the skin of their teeth and it'll be a glorious day for them. Plymouth, I don't think get relegated, and worst case they can pull the plug on Cleverley's. I think he had a 3-year deal or something. If that is the case, and yeah, it would it'd be sad if they do obviously get relegated. I think they deserve to be in League One, but they got players that are too good to be in League Two. If I'm being honest, yeah. So that's my table, I guess. Let's see what's got. Graham says, "Be interesting if we made playoffs. Wembley's a big pitch. I hope we don't get. I hope we get our automatics. I want us to win the title so badly. We'd do something honestly, because those youngsters do something. If anything, oh God, I mean, last season was so dismal and abysmal, and there's just so much misery there. And how they had an awards evening on the day we got relegated was beyond me completely. But yeah, I just don't. I'll stop sharing my screen now. I don't think I'm going to take any much more than that. It has to be automatics, really. If we go through the playoffs, obviously it's great, but I think, I don't know if my heart can take that, if I'm being honest, or that my heart rate would be going through the roof, 200 plus BPM. And yeah, if we somehow drop out, and look, touch wood, obviously, but if we somehow drop out playoffs, even, yeah, I don't even know how I feel about that, because I don't think we can literally afford to be in League One in next season. And yeah, to be fair, like, I look at it now, right? We were hoping to be first by end of Christmas. We are, and it's like, oh, it kind of feels natural because we've maintained that position for a while now. And yeah, it's not been smooth sailing at all, but we've picked up results even in ugly games. Like, there's been so many games we just did not, I want to say did not deserve to win, but I think it was one of our worst performances, and we still win. Like, if you can win ugly, that is a really good sign for a team. Obviously, not for that match, but long term, you're thinking, okay, if we can win ugly, then when we actually put performances in, when we're not as tired, and we have a good selection of players, that's it gives you confidence boost. So I think as well with I said about Omari Kellerman. I want to talk a bit about like some recently most improved players. I don't want to spoil what I've just recorded earlier. I've recorded a short video, but yeah. So I was thinking about like my end of year 2025 awards for this, this year of 2025. I'm not going to spoil the other ones, but I will share one of them, which is the most improved. And there's a few I will say about that. The reason why I bring this up is because there's certain players at the start of the year which I thought were miles off, and thinking, I can't wait to see these players go. And then this season now with BBM, and it's finally sort of come to fruition, I guess you could say. I think the two that stand out for me and most improved is Callum Chambers and Chris Willock. And I think most people can agree with that those are two players who are drastically improved under BBM, considering they're the more senior players as well. And the likes of Chris Willock last season, I mean, it never looked like he got out of first gear or even half a gear. And same with Callum Chambers. I thought Callum Chambers did all right in the six, but he wasn't really a number six. I guess you could say he was, but he just didn't have the mobility. But this season, I think both of them have really turned the tables, and they found their feet again. League One, whatever, but they could do it at Championship level as well. I just think that this season, League One has given them the confidence to step up a bit more and to take some leadership as well into it. Because I think Willock had a sensational game in the second half last night. I just think it's taken him a long time, but even later. So with Callum Chambers, I think Callum Chambers is a worry for me, because I'm thinking, well, we've got this guy who's probably in the most out of all the players at the club. He's nominated club captain by the players supposedly, and you're thinking, well, Lawler and Fisher are our best centre back partnership. So how are we gonna, how are we going to ruin that partnership? And so far it's worked. We have interchanged almost every game, it seems, with different centre back partnership. I think the one good thing is last night, as well as he does give me the shakes, Chamber, sometimes, and he did almost cost us a couple of chances. He was a lot more captain-esque. I can't remember who commented last night, but saying like how he was taking on the captaincy role. He was calm. He was composed. He has an insane touch, like a first touch. Callum Chambers has. I think it's really great because he can control. Footballs are coming from high velocity, and just he controls it, and he's that calmness at the back. Where I don't find he's calm is when he's trying to take on players at the back. That's what I don't want to see, really. But yeah, so for him, the most improved, I will say, would be probably Callum Chambers. I think Chris Willock, maybe a close second. But I just thought I want to mention that as like not a hot take, but it's just something I want to mention, give him credit for, because I think we've given the likes of Chambers and Willock a lot of stick. I say I have, and maybe a couple of other City hosts, but it's nice to see they're finally coming to it, because it would have been horrible to think, we got him for the rest of the season, he's not performing, but yet he's on the highest wage. So I'm glad that sort of turned around. I just wanted to mention that, really. But yeah, let's see what else we got. We've got to look towards the next game now. Gary says, watch us hammer Wickham tomorrow. Yeah, it's not a lot of time between the games, is it? Only really a couple of days. Are we home? I think we're home. Oh, God. We are away at 3 o'clock kickoff. Wait, it's not tomorrow. It's January 1st. So it's a couple of days, yeah. It's not tomorrow. It's New Year's Day. I think a few people sent off fireworks tonight thinking it's New Year's Eve, but it's not. Because I'm working tomorrow, yeah, but I get to see the game 'cause I'm off on New Year's Day. If we do go up, we got to stop giving teams so many chances. That is 100%. Like, I think it's just the fact that, like, as soon as they get one chance, they seem to score. And it's so frustrating because we play really good football, but we don't get a goal. And then we let them play football for like 2 seconds, they score. It's so predictable. It's so frustrating, honestly. I know we're top, but like we could be miles ahead right now if we just stop giving teams easy chances, not closing players down. It's not being clinical enough. It's not even just not being clinical enough. It's not putting the ball in the bloody box. It's not. We're trying to wait for the perfect opportunity, and I get it. Recycle the ball, wing rotation. I get it. It looks nice, right? It looks nice, but what also looks nice? The ball being put in the back of the net, or the testing the keeper with hitting longer range shots. I can't remember the last time we scored, a long distance shot. Maybe it was last night. I can't remember. I think so. No, but a shot from outside the box. A lot of them do go in. The keepers at this level, most of them aren't as good. But I don't know. I completely agree with you there, Graham. We just got to stop giving teams so many chances. I think we sort of like don't know what to do. We seem a bit like we've run out of ideas once we've created all this. But we don't need to play the really pretty football. I mean, look at the likes of Lincoln and Blackpool, Peterborough. They're probably not playing the fanciest football, but they are winning games now. And look, we don't have to be as perfect as people think out. And there's a lot of youngsters in our squad, so we got to teach them that sometimes it is a bit gritty and a bit ugly at times, and sometimes you're going to have to play ugly football because it's more unpredictable. Whereas when we're constantly trying to play this nice pass into box Arsenal style, yes, whilst it is nice to see and exciting, it also gets really boring at sometimes because teams just sit off. So yeah, it's drawing people out of the press. I don't like it really when we're waiting to the last possible second to pass it all before players close us down. I don't like that faffing at the back. Honestly, I'd rather see us get the ball up the pitch and we can win it back, because in here we've got the players who can win it back. I see Nathan Trott does go long a lot more now, which is nice to see. And sometimes he will lose the ball. That's just the nature of the game. The main thing is we win it back a lot, because teams in this league, they will lose the ball because they will make dodgy passes and we can intercept them, and that's when we can hurt them on the break. I still think if we go counter-attacking and you have two counter-attacking teams going against each other, Cardiff still win because we've got the better defence and we've got the pace and the fitness over the teams. So if at any point we did want to switch and go more counter-attacking, I think it would suit us quite well, albeit we are more possession heavy, but you can still do both. You could still be counter-attacking and have more possession. I mean, we dominated possession against Stevenage first half, but we weren't winning, were we? So, I don't know. Yeah, Thursday, Gary, that's all right. We all make mistakes. It's all good, all good. Evening, Paul, by the way. I thought we were going to see you tonight. Ooh, thank God for that. Nice to see you always here and tuning in. Thank you, Paul. I didn't even read the comment. I just pulled it up straight away. I can place it to go in your head, please. Yeah, to be fair, the cameras aren't doing me much justice, but let's just say that the universe blessed me with big things. That's all I can say about that one, anyway. But yeah, out of all games as well, Sudoku. I can never say that right. Sounds like a football winger, honestly. That's Doku. Never mind. Even in chatterboxes, chatterboxers, not chatterboxes. So far, Bagan, player of the season, MVP Salek, most improved Chambers, defensively sound, Fish or Trot, Wickham 0, Cardiff 4. Wow, okay. I don't know if we are going to get to batter a team anytime soon. I reckon it'll be another 2-1 win, to be fair, away from home. I don't know who we got. I did see Ashford yesterday. I'm not sure if he's injured or if he's been rested because Tanner's getting in, or maybe the man just didn't fancy Ashford for whatever reason. I suppose you've got to drop someone, haven't you, if you bring him back Tanner, which is great to see him getting some minutes. And he looks quite physical already as well. It doesn't look like he's afraid to get stuck back in, like Jamilu Collins. When he came back from injury, he looked a bit sort of nervous to put a foot in, or in case he got injured again. But obviously, you got over that fear then. but he's never the same player. I'm just hoping that isn't the same with Tanner, but it doesn't look like, because he won the ball back a few times doing his defensive duties. I think he's looking a lot more mature senior player now, even though he's probably only 23, 24, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think Keane Ashford rested. I'm not a problem with that, to be fair. There's a lot of these players going to get rest, same as me. But, wow, an hour's gone by pretty fast. But, yeah, get your score predictions in now. Let's have a go with that. Suze has put hers in 4-0 to Cardiff. I hope so. I mean, the last time I think you put that, I think you almost got it right, didn't you? Or you did get it right. So yeah, trust in Suze, everyone. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm just sticking by 2-1 away from home win. Ooh. I don't even know who Wickham have got in this squad anymore. Like, I don't even know half the teams. I say this probably all the time of I don't know who's in this squad, but have they got that Hanlon? Or no, Hanlon's gone elsewhere now, hasn't he? Woodrow, Onyedinma, I think he's on. Is he a lone player? Christ, I cannot pronounce Hagelskaya. I don't know barely any of their players, sadly. But on any day, you know, on any given day, any team can beat anyone. I think their biggest threat really is, I don't know. Who was their last? That's the season stat so far. Their last starting 11. Who did they play last? Was it? Let's have a look. They drew against Plymouth. Okay. We can beat them, surely. They lost 4-0 to Luton, mind, the time before that. Yeah, I reckon 2-1 win. That's going to be it, guys, I think. But win at home games, draw away, we won't be far off. Honestly, yeah, if we just do that, we'll probably get automatics at this point. If other teams done that, obviously, it might be a bit different. They might get playoffs, but because of the position we're in, we've got some separation from the playoff spot and down. I think we're all right. It's not the opposition that Tanner has to watch. It's advertising boards. Yeah, that's a very good point there, Graham, to finish us off with. Be careful with the advertising boards, guys. That's should have sued them, honestly. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. It's an episode or live, what do I call it? Like it's a TV show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my God, I am so knackered now. 2-1 Cardiff City, up the Bluebirds, and we are still top of the table. See you all soon.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the Spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans, for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.